Welcome to Take Two, the Book of Jonah, chapters 1 through 4. Often, I say things off the cuff the first time, and so I usually don't repeat myself because I usually wind up liking it better the first time than I do the second time because it just flows out naturally. But I did draw attention to something I didn't really want to draw attention to, which is subject to interpretation and it kind of seemed to take away from the message. So I wanted to do a take two and make sure that we put emphasis on the right thing. One of the things about Jonah is that this is one of those stories where a lot of people, saved or unsaved, just know about it because Jonah and the whale. Like, everybody knows the story of Jonah and the whale, whether they believe it or agree with it or think it's fictitious. Everybody knows about Jonah and the whale. This book is demonstrative of the humanness of relationship between man and God. And it's about redemption, but it's also about stubbornness and rebellion. It's about thanksgiving, but it's also about the brevity that Thanksgiving sometimes takes when our minds turn to a different thing or when we encounter different emotions and we forget. We forget to be thankful and we turn our attention to something far more negative, a negative emotion. But Jonah emphasizes the human condition in a lot of different ways. And truly, it's about the redemptive story in a couple of different aspects. I brought this into the conversation earlier because Jesus talked about Jonah in the ever popular chapter of Matthew 16. Yes, the Pharisees also, with the Sadducees, came and desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. In the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? He was not referring to anything other than the fact that the Christ, the Son of God, their Messiah, was standing right in front of them. This is toward the end of his ministry. He would have demonstrated miracles, healings, ad infinitum up to this point. The fact that they were asking him for something else wasn't because they were on the cusp of believing and they just needed just a little bit of a push to push them over the edge. It was that they were tempting him to prove to them beyond what he had already demonstrated, and he wasn't going to fall prey to that. He wasn't going to try to earn their favor by doing more. This is something that humans like to do is they like to treat other people with negativity. So those people will be like, oh gosh, I guess I better prove to them that they're not wrong, that they're wrong about me. And I guess I better do the thing that they're saying I can't, or do whatever to try to earn their favor. That's you never want to do that. You never want to do that. So he said, you're looking for something that I've been demonstrating, and you want me to do more beyond what I've done, knowing that it still wouldn't push you into faith. That's not someone who's ready to believe, but they just need that little bit of extra. That's someone who's just putting you through your paces for no good reason other than it's a power trip. So what he says in the next verse is, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. The sign of the prophet Jonas was that Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, and as such, in the likeness of, Jesus will spend 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The important part about that was, and I've talked about this a lot before, is that the end of Jesus' ministry was with the triumphal entry on Nisan 10 Palm Sunday. The sign of Jonah would have been an understanding in hindsight, not in foresight. And this is why it's important to understand prophecy in hindsight and prophecy with foresight, is because even Jesus said to his disciples that not everything that he was saying would be clear when he said it, but they would understand later. And that's specifically what no sign will be given but the sign of Jonah was a reference to, is after he spent 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. In hindsight, they would understand what he was saying in the likeness of Jonah spending 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale. The caveat to that is that the unto the Messiah the Prince from Daniel's prophecy, the end of the first 69 weeks of years and the end of the 70th week of years are about kingdom presentations to Israel. So what you observe in the Unto the Messiah the Prince Palm Sunday triumphal entry is that that was kingdom presentation number 1, and they rejected it. In the aftermath of Israel's rejection of the kingdom, he cursed the fig tree for not bearing fruit. He delayed the kingdom, moved it to he delayed the offering, took it off of the table for Israel, delayed it to a second coming. He cast blindness over Israel, save for a remnant according to the election of grace, and he prophesied 70 AD as a recompense against Israel for not knowing the time of their visitation. So the whole point of his first coming, his ministry, was forward looking to the day where he would offer kingdom to Israel. By the time the sign of Jonah was given, would be no less than 7 days later, because he came to them on Palm Sunday and he rose the following Sunday. So again, you're looking at a hindsight prophecy of, oh yes, he said he would be in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. That proves true when he rises on the 3rd day. So that would have been 1 week later after the triumphal entry. The kingdom already would have been delayed and blindness already would have been cast. So what he's saying is, a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign. You're not going to be given another sign until it is too late for you to do anything about it, because these other things will have happened in the interim that will have precluded you from being able to go into kingdom, and more than likely in the case of the Pharisees, be able to be saved because of that casting of blindness and the cursing of the fig tree.